Hello and welcome to 28 Years Without Avatar. I'm your host, JC. I have not seen Avatar, not yet, but we're looking to change that one episode at a time. And in this case, two. Today with episode 7 and episode 8, Winter Solstice, part 1 and part 2. All right, so this has been a long time coming. If you've been watching the podcast, we've been talking about the idea of doing 2 episodes in one, and today is finally the day. I have watched 2 episodes of Avatar for the first time back to back. It's so funny I haven't done that yet, but this is truly the first, and this one is Winter Solstice, part 1 and part 2. Part 1, the Spirit World, part 2, Avatar Roku. Now, the way we're going to do the pod today is we're going to split it up half and half, okay? So I'm going to take some time to talk about part 1 here at the start of the pod, and halfway through, we're going to switch gears and talk about the part 2. Because if I don't do that, if I just go into my thoughts on the previous 2 episodes, I think I'm going to really hyperfixate hard on what happened in part 2 rather than part 1. And we need to talk about part 1 because there's really good stuff in part 1 that I think is important. And I want to just focus on that for a second. So if you're looking for the part 2 talk and discussion, that's going to be towards the second half of the pod. I will chapter it out for you if you're on YouTube and whatnot. It should help you out. But let's get into it. So part 1. Oh my freaking God. Okay, this episode has so many things going on with it that I didn't expect. First of all, we have to say the MVP. You know, we always do an MVP every single week. And this man has been the MVP before, I believe. But Uncle Iroh, dude, literally insane. Before we even talk about the plot of part 1 today, dude, the fact that this man was in a hot spring of his own making at the start of the episode, and he's just chilling. He's just taking his own time. He's not rushing to go after Aang, even though Zuko really, really wants him to, and they need to hurry up. He's just chilling. He's just minding his own business. And then he gets captured. And then he's basically, if this was an M-rated show, he basically was captured naked, right? He's captured naked. He has no clothes. And then it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, he is still just a god at getting out of the situations and just being an absolute badass. It was so entertaining. Iroh in this episode, Aang, you have gone up to the very, one of the very top tier characters on my list because it's just so entertaining. I love this sort of contrast, of course, with, you have someone like Zuko, right? Very, very, what's the word? Reckless, trying to go after Aang, trying to find the Avatar as quick as possible, has something to prove, right? And then you have Aang over here, who has already proved himself in the past, right? Who's already been a general, I think they said in this episode, right? He's been someone who definitely has been skilled and has won battles before, and it's almost like he doesn't have anything to prove anymore, and he's just it's like he's living this retired life, but also still kind of helping out his nephew, but then also definitely has some extra things going on too. And we'll get into it a little bit with the spirit world stuff. But Iroh in this episode, there was something that I noticed. I'm like, wait a second. Did he notice that? Did he notice Aang flying on the dragon? I think he did. That was weird. How did that make sense? I don't understand. Maybe he has something more than meets the eye there. I don't know. That was very, very odd to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he did notice Aang flying on the dragon in the spirit world in this episode. I'm like, how did he notice that? How did he see that? No one else could see Aang doing that, and only he could? Unless I'm misremembering, but that seemed to be the case. That did happen. But yeah, Aang was incredible. It was so entertaining. I love how, we talk about how every episode there's unique ways that they use their abilities. And I was going to say their spells, but their bending abilities, right? And Uncle Iroh does the thing early in the episode where he's in the hot spring that he sort of made himself by using a steam-powered breath from his nose, right? To just heat up the water. And they do it as a gag at the start. They're like, "Oh, look, ha ha ha, that's so funny that he did that, and he's just chilling in the hot spring, and he's just using his powers to be kind of annoying to Zuko." And then later in the episode, that comes back. Like that similar ability that he used to heat up the hot spring actually heats up the chains to like free him from his captors in that situation. Like it heats him up, and then I think they break or whatever, and he gets to run away for a second. And I'm like, that's so cool. Like it was a throwaway gag at the start of the episode that kind of showed his like laziness and how much he just doesn't really want to like, move, and he just wants to chill. And then later in the episode, that like his skills, like it just shows that even that can be a skill that he can use to get out of his situation. And he's actually really, really smart when he wants to be. And again, I just have nothing but praise for Aang. He's so entertaining to watch. I want more of him. It's so fun watching like villains, right? That are entertaining. And I don't want anything to happen to them. I'm kind of like rooting for them in a weird way, even though they're on the other side of our heroes. But I think Aang definitely, he just was MVP. He was absolutely MVP of this episode. I cannot believe that he was just like wearing no clothes, just popping off. And him and Zuko, especially at the end, sort of like fighting together. That was cool too. Like them being like back to back and kind of popping off. Like that was really freaking cool. Like I love seeing that scene. That was great. But yeah, let's talk about the main meat of the episode other than Aang. Aang was great. That was crazy. Did he see the dragon? I think he did. But let's talk about something else, okay? The spirit world. The spirit world. All right. I didn't know how this show would tackle things like this. Like, I expected, when we're talking about the spirit world, when we're talking about reincarnation in this show, when we're talking about, like, there definitely are spirits, and there's, like, I definitely an afterlife, and, like, all this kind of stuff. I didn't expect there to be an episode, especially this early, like episode 7, right, of our characters literally crossing over to another realm. So the general idea of this episode is that Aang and our heroes, Katara, Sokka, they're on their journey, they're traveling, and they see this massive field that is completely destroyed, demolished. And you can see like the rhino hooves or whatever from the Fire Nation. You can tell the Fire Nation destroyed it. And that's really bad. And nature was not safe, right? And Aang talks about how he feels like he's let down nature, and it's important to him to like behold that, and he feels bad that he wasn't there to help it. And then the episode sort of like quickly goes into, hey, there's this village, and this village over here is under attack by a spirit, is under attack by something called Haibe, I believe. And our characters, can the Avatar help out? Is there any way the Avatar can help? Can we help that situation? People are being taken from the village. It seems like something that's like, okay, is that actually real? Like when they were first saying that, I was like, is that true? Like, are you being serious? Like, is there actually like a monster that's appearing, or is it just something that you're seeing kind of off screen? Maybe it's just like bad energy or whatever. And it's like, no, you fully see this monster like coming in and like decimating this village, and it's very, very scary. And first of all, I didn't expect to see something like that. And then second of all, the other thing too is that I again, like spirits affecting the real world. Okay, got you. That I can see that. That makes sense. The fact that our characters, and Sokka included, by the way, crossing over to that realm, basically going to another dimension, right? And being captured by that spirit, that's a whole other can of worms I didn't expect this show to do. I didn't know that anything like that would be even possible in this show. I always thought it'd be like telepathic stuff if they do anything like that. They sort of imply that the avatars are like probably like connected to Aang in some way, right? So I was like, okay, well maybe they'll like force ghost. Like maybe there's ways to like force ghost and things like that, but not Aang crossing over there, and not Sokka crossing over there as well. And Sokka doesn't have any powers or anything, so that was interesting to me. But yeah, this episode was all about Aang crossing over to the spirit world, getting lost in the spirit world, right? Getting lost in the sauce, and meeting a a spirit dragon. It sounds kind of crazy when you put it this way, but meeting a spirit dragon who we don't understand quite what's happening at the moment, but this spirit dragon, we later find out, is Roku's travel buddy in the same way. And I forgot if they named the dragon a name. I apologize if I'm forgetting a name here. But the dragon, first of all, this is the first time I think we've really seen like a dragon in this way, right, in the show. Like we've had like sea creatures and stuff like that, but you know, seeing like a flying dragon in the show, crazy, right? And I don't know if that's supposed to imply like, okay, in the ancient past, ancient history, dragons are always flying around, and like that was a thing. I don't know, but regardless, we got a pretty big lore drop. I think it was either in this one or the next one, but I'm going to include it here because I want to talk about the spirit dragon because that happened in this episode. But like the dragon is a buddy, like a travel companion to Avatar Roku in the past, right? And the dragon basically takes Aang on this journey of spiritually like apparating to this fire temple that's on this crescent island, like isolated in the water. And Aang's wondering why he's being sent there. And first of all, it's really cool to imply that any avatar throughout history might have a travel companion of their own. It kind of reminds me, like, this is kind of a weird comparison, but to anyone who watched Doctor Who, there was always this thing in Doctor Who where there's always a doctor. He regenerates, he kind of reincarnates throughout the seasons of the show. Every time the doctor dies, his body kind of comes back and he still has the same memories. And the doctor always has what's called a companion, right? And usually it's someone that he picked up somewhere in time or somewhere in history, or it could be two people, or it could be three people, or it could be someone from an alien planet. It doesn't have to be just like a human from Earth. It could be like someone from any point in time in sci-fi. And I like that this show kind of, I think, establishes, hey, avatars have, I think they're saying this, have a travel companion that is for some reason linked to them, right? And Appa is that for Aang, which is really cute. And this dragon is for Roku, which is really badass when you think about it. Like, and also the fact that Roku is, of course, got like, came from the Fire Nation, right? Originally, that's just really badass. Like you have what looks like a fire-breathing dragon as his travel companion, and then Aang, of course, being from more of like an airbender state of things. He has this like just really like cute like flying bison because that's what the like air temples had, right? So that's just really cool. Like that lore drop as of itself, I really enjoyed. I thought that was cool. But the thing that got really interesting is this episode, although it's about, yes, we got to save Sokka. He got captured by this bear, right? This spirit bear, this panda spirit bear. Even though Sokka got captured, there's sort of like a B plot happening, which is Aang is slowly being taken to this location, and being told, hey, in a manner of speaking, hey, you need to come here to this temple on this day because there's something you need to know. Something is coming, right? It's a lot of foreshadowing. It's a lot of setting up, but it got me really, really hyped because I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what are we doing with this episode? Not only are we traveling to another realm, but now we're being communicated to from this realm, from the travel companion here, the dragon. And the dragon is saying, okay, you need to be here. It's like a calendar. You know, the dragon didn't actually speak this, but Aang is sort of putting it together. Okay, I need to be in this room and get a message from Roku, right? Like that was really cool to me. Like oh my God, I love like stuff that has to do with like afterlife and like things connecting across time and space and spirituality and all that kind of stuff. Like I love thinking about these concepts. And I just love that this episode really in a lot of ways is like setting up the major plot of the show I'm sensing. But you don't really know it as you're watching it, but then you're like kind of getting a sense of it. And then the thing that drops, right? The thing that happens that got me going crazy is Aang sees a flash. He sees some sort of flash. He sees like a teaser of the prophecy that he's going to get in the next episode. He sees a flash of a comet. And it's just like really bright, shaking in this in I guess space, right? And my ass was like, what are you talking about, man? What do you mean there's a comet? Are we gonna have an apocalyptic event that we need to worry about? Like my Final Fantasy brain is going off, and I'm like, wait a second, what is this show doing right now? Like, are you saying that are you getting teased that there is something far dangerous than firebenders and this war that's going on the planet? Is this like the greater threat that we all have to face? You know, like a lot of times shows do that where it's like, hey, I mean, like look at even like Game of Thrones, right? Like there's the politics of the world and all these nations and all these like these kingdoms, like I guess it's kingdoms, but you know what I mean? Like all these different houses going to war in Game of Thrones, but then like secretly in the background, the White Walkers are coming. Secretly in the background, the Night King is a presence, and it's kind of like terrifying. And when they were doing this, I was like, oh my God, are we about to say that this whole world's going to die and we have to find a way to stop this? Okay, all right, that's different. Now, it didn't turn out exactly like that, as we'll talk in the part 2 section. But regardless, it was so cool that it was setting all these things up in this episode. Like, I just did not expect anything like this. Honestly, I thought that we were going to get more water stuff. I thought water was what was up next, because we've seen a lot of earthbending stuff lately. Obviously, we've seen Fire Nation, not every single episode, but it feels like we see firebenders all the time now. And I was like, okay, maybe it's time we finally go to like a water tribe or something. Maybe it's time we finally get on the trail of figuring out how to master water. And that did not happen. It was like, connecting with the spirit world, getting a message from the spirit world. By the way, Uncle Iroh is just an insanely skilled like general that is just, oh my God, he acts like he's nerfed, but he's not. And he's so funny. I just love him in this episode. And it was great. Like, it was a great episode. And I liked seeing, the sort of resolution to it too, of like, okay, really the only reason the spirit is tormenting this town is because the spirit doesn't realize like that the nature can come back and it can be rebuilt, and like the acorns and stuff like that, kind of symbolize like, hey, things are really dour right now, things are looking really, really bad, but nature finds a way of coming back and reincarnating, right? In a way, there's that sort of feeling in the show of like there's a cycle of life, life, death, rebirth, and nature can come back. And the bear sort of figuring that out at the end and then being okay. I was like, oh, that was really cute. I really like that because I just like animals. Like I've always had a soft spot for animals. We have 2 cats, and I love them so much. And like just the thought of like this animal's home being destroyed and no one really thinking about it. And then, sort of our heroes finding, a way to tell that animal, like, hey, it's going to be okay. Like that was really, really cute. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, the spirit world stuff blew my mind. The Uncle Iroh stuff was crazy. A lot of funny moments there. And then not only that, but like, I still think it's a little strange that Ankh saw the dragon. Like as Aang was like flying to where he needed to go, his destination, he like, again, I swear that Ankh was like, Ankh is like chained up like on the back of something, right? On what looked to be like chocobos, by the way. By the way, earthbenders have like chocobos. Like I swear to God, it's a chocobo. It looks like a chocobo. And he's like literally just like sitting there, and he's just like, huh. I'm like, what? You can see. Like, you have the sixth sense. Uncle Iroh has the sixth sense. That's a thing. That like something, he noticed something. Maybe it was the wind. I don't know. But he noticed something. But yeah, this episode was insanely cool. But we do need to talk about part 2. I'm going to go get some water really fast and then come back and do that. All right, let's talk now about what is now my favorite episode in the entire show. Episode 8, Avatar Roku. Winter Solstice, Part 2. Okay. That was peak. To put it simply, that was peak. The music, the way that it all culminated. There's a lot to talk about, but I think we all got to talk about like that scene at the end was just absolutely incredible. Like where everything just came to a head. It was just amazing. But yeah, this episode did a lot for me because not only did it give us a massive lore reveal, it also set up new stakes that I didn't even know were going to be a thing, right? But the last episode, part 1, is leading you towards like, hey, there's something going on, something extra you don't know about. And then this one confirms it and confirms that there's something extra going on. And then on top of that, I just love how everyone is sort of portrayed in this episode. It feels like all of the major chess pieces on the board that have been set up over the past like 6 or 7 episodes of the show. I did not mean to do that, but but yeah, it just feels like all the chess pieces that have been set up have all led to this moment, right? You have Zuko, you have Commander Zhao. I think I said that right. Hopefully it's command. It's either commander or general. Obviously they're teasing the Fire Lord, like the Emperor that is Zuko's dad, right? And then we have a new character as well. It's introduced, and I like this character as well. With Shayu, I believe is his name. There's so much that happened, but let's take it from the top. Let's start from the beginning and talk about like what the whole premise was, because I think it's important to talk about. So last episode, we had this sort of spirit world conundrum. We got to save this, basically this spirit panda bear from destroying this town. And meanwhile, Aang is getting sort of a message that he needs to go to this fire temple to receive something from Roku. Something from Roku is very important, and he needs to connect with Roku there. And he can only do so at that time, basically. And so the whole point of this episode is we got to go behind enemy lines, go to this fire temple that's on this crescent-shaped island, and basically have a meeting with the Avatar of the past, the previous one. And not only is that just an insanely hypeful premise because, oh my God, okay, we're putting it all on the line to go see whatever this message is, but you're just getting so much of like the breadth of the history of the world in this episode. Roku is awesome. Like, let me just make that very, very clear. It's so freaking cool. It really is so cool to me that you have, Aang obviously coming from an airbending standpoint, and Roku is the previous Avatar, right? And I'm pretty sure Roku is the previous one right before Aang, right? I think that's what they've said. And Roku coming from Fire Nation, coming from like a firebending side of things, and but also just being a perfect ally to Aang, I think just shows like this is what the show is all about. Like, even though the Fire Nation is bad right now, even though firebending is taken over and that is the force we have to deal with, like, look at this Avatar that was all about fire. Look how awesome he was. And look at the power that can be in the magma and volcanic rock and all that kind of stuff can be bended. Like, crazy stuff. Like, I just love that they don't characterize Roku in a, to me, not a villainous way at all. It's just like, no, Roku was an Avatar that he wants to make sure that Aang is on the right path. And even though Roku comes from fire background, it's totally like there's a connection, and it shows like what this world could be if everyone was connected and on the same page, and how powerful everyone could be together, but they're just not. And it's like, But anyways, Roku's sick. Roku's awesome. Before I get my whole soapbox about that and how people should respect each other and their backgrounds. But yeah, so the whole premise of this episode is we got to go to the island. We got to find a way through. And I love that the sort of episode, starts out where it's like, okay, Aang's going to do this alone. He's like, I got to do it. I don't want you guys to get hurt. I got to go. I'm running out of time. And then basically, as always, as predicted, the friends, right? Like Sokka and Katara, like, they're not going to let Aang go alone. They're not going to let that happen. So they go with him. And that's really cute. And you basically have our trio of heroes. You can count Momo and Appa as well. But we have our trio going towards this island, going behind enemy lines, which is super, super dangerous. But they have to get through a blockade in order to get there in time. And not only that, but you have Zuko on the other end also also risking a lot to get to Aang. Zuko wants to get to Aang so bad. He feels like he needs that justice of finding the Avatar because of his exile. It is so important to him that he's the one that turns Aang in. And Zuko is so, like Zuko cares about that so much that he's willing to like completely get in trouble, even though he's been banished. He's not supposed to go into Fire Nation territory at all anymore. And he's also got to break through the blockade as well. And I just love that the show keeps doing this, where like they show Aang and the gang having to get through something. And then Zuko also kind of has to get through it in his own way, but obviously he does not have a flying bison to do so. And he finds a way, or he gets through it due to some sheer luck or some willpower of some other force. And it's like, oh my God, I feel like Zuko is about to be captured. And then, it's like, wait a second, he's going to slip through. He's going to make it through. And there's something else going on here. And there's been sort of a rivalry over the past couple episodes of the show with Zhao, right? Zhao, if I said it right, Zhao, definitely doesn't like Zuko. Definitely doesn't like Zuko. Definitely thinks Zuko is full of it and is just, immature and can't really get the job done. And obviously they've had their bit of a rivalry fight and everything. And like that I'm pretty sure it was with him, right? Yeah. Obviously there's now some history there, and we're like, oh God, they definitely, there's some tension that's been building between them both. And, first of all, you have Aang and the gang flying in the sky, dodging all these like fire, I don't even know, dude, like fireball catapult things that are being shot. And poor Appa made me so sad. I don't want Appa to ever be hurt, by the way. And Appa's like dodging. I'm like, please do a barrel roll, Appa, please do a barrel roll. And then, it's entertaining because it's like they're shooting at Aang, but then also it's made very clear that they don't care. They don't care at all if Zuko gets hurt. They're like, who cares? Literally, like, we're just shoot. If it destroys the prince's ship, we don't care. I'm like, damn, they do not care. That's the thing that gets me with this show, is that obviously they've set up Zuko. Like, Zuko really wants to prove his worth to the Fire Nation, but like, why? Why do you want to do that? I think it has to do with daddy issues. I really do. I think it has to do with something like the history there with his father, and we're going to find out more about that hopefully later. But I keep thinking the whole time, I'm like, Zuko, why do you want to be a part of that? Why do you want to be, welcome back in to the Fire Nation? Look at how they treat you. They don't even care if you die in the crossfire of shooting stuff at Aang right now. Like, they don't care at all. And in fact, they were gonna let your like entire ship probably be destroyed or whatever. But they let you go past because they're gonna use you as sort of like bait to get the Avatar instead of you. Like, they don't care about you at all. Like, I want a Zuko, like, I'm starting, chat, to want a Zuko redemption arc. I don't know how it could happen. I don't know how it makes sense. I think obviously we're going to have things with Aang and Zuko fighting, I'm sure, more and more and more in the future. But I think this episode, especially with the fact that like Zhao was more of a villain to me in this episode than Zuko was. You know what I mean? Like, when you're watching the episode, you're like, oh no, Zhao's soldiers and him are just that's the more threatening force. Zuko and Aang, I'm kind of rooting for. Like, I don't want them to get killed, and I don't want them to necessarily get in trouble, right? And the more that keeps happening, the more they keep showing how fun and awesome Aang is, and then how like awesome Zuko is as well. But then like how much they don't care about Zuko. I'm just over here like, bro, maybe you should stay banished. Maybe you should stay banished, and maybe you should like betray the Fire Nation. Like, I'm probably, if this is a thing that happens, it's probably so much further down the line in the show, but I'm just wanting it more and more because I'm like, dude, they don't care. They don't care. But anyway, aside from that point, we have all these forces colliding on this island, right? Everyone is going to this island, but before everyone fully gets there, Aang and the gang get there first. And what they run into is fire sages. They run into multiple fire sages that are protecting the temple. They think the temple is abandoned. They think that it's not it's got too much going on anymore. But then all of a sudden there's fire sages that are there, and then they're on the run. It's like, oh God, we got to run from these guys because they are here to kill us. And as we're running, as we're moving around all these hallways, and it's almost like a maze, And also the fact they said the temple might be abandoned, I'm like, ooh, does that mean that they does the Fire Nation now do they not look up to Roku at all anymore? Do they look at Roku as just like, we don't really care about that because we have our dominance now without Roku. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's why it's abandoned, kind of abandoned. But anyways, these sages are after them. And it's like, oh shoot, what's going on here? And then there's one sage named Shayu, I believe, right? Shayu stops Aang and his friends and goes, hey, wait, I am not a villain. I'm not after you. I'm actually here to help. And I've been waiting for you for a while. And I have been waiting ever since I saw Roku's eyes glow, because as you remember in one of the first episodes of the show, when Aang saw the sort of tomb with all the different statues of the different avatars, and he sort of connected with them, that caused everyone in the world to know the Avatar's return. So Shayu has been here like, hey, by the way, I've been waiting, and trust me, I'm your friend. And a lot of the other sages have given up on the Avatar, and because they waited so long. It's kind of implied, I think, that because Aang was gone for so many years, that there's a sense of betrayal of trust in the Avatar, and that the other sages, they don't feel like the same way anymore because it took too long, basically. But Shayu's always been loyal, and I'm like, oh, first of all, Shayu, the GOAT for that. We love you for that. Thanks for helping us out with our secret tunnel, right? That was cool. But yeah, that was really interesting. And then we have Shayu sort of explaining he said that his grandfather, either his great grandfather or I think it was his grandfather. I think his grandfather knew Roku. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. So you're setting up something there. Maybe we could see some flashbacks of that at some point. But anyways, they go deeper and deeper. They see that underneath the temple, by the way, a lot of the sort of organic, or it's not organic really, but the magma rock that's layered was created by how powerful Roku was, I believe. And I'm like, first of all, that's cool. I never thought of fire, the ultimate form of fire being that, but that makes so much sense. Magma and volcanoes, magma would be more powerful than fire itself. So anything that's magma coated is probably oh yeah, that sounds like the fire, the fire-based Avatar. That's cool. And it makes me wonder is there ultra levels to other elements too, right? When we think of water, water, but then ice might be ultra. When you think of earth, I'm not quite sure, but maybe sand. I don't know. There's all those things. Are there different layers to bending powers, and only the Avatar can really do magma stuff? Maybe that's a thing. Not quite sure, but regardless, very cool. I'm yapping a lot about this. Can you tell I really like this episode? There's so much to talk about. I'm so sorry. This is probably the longest pod we're going to ever do because of the double episode today. But yeah, it was great. So they're going down there. Then they find basically the door to the room that Aang has seen in the last episode. Aang saw this room before, but now he's got to get into it physically, not spiritually. And it requires all 5 sages to basically use their firebending skills on the door. And of course, they don't have that. Aang doesn't have fire skills, so he can't do it. So, okay, Sokka, what if you try your bomb tactic? That's cool. Don't know where you got those bombs. Did you just walk around and press triangle on things like Last of Us and just get the materials to do that? I have no idea how he had those materials. Don't know. And he just had them on his pocket. Okay, cool. But he put them into the door, right? And we attempt it. Doesn't work. But this episode was very smart where it's okay, I'm so glad it wasn't just Sokka did the thing and it just worked. That seems kind of you could just break in like a thief. Okay. But no, it was more okay, well, it didn't work. Let's hide and make the sages think that we made it in. and then they'll open the door because they think we're inside there. And Momo can somehow sneak in there because Momo's small. That's okay. It's not Momo proof, that's for sure. And then that's our way in. And I was like, that's freaking cool. Like I like that sort of answer. It was very quick. It also allows Sokka to not feel too bad for not being able to do it. Like the sort of like gunpowder or whatever he used being there, the residue is what made it happen. You know, it's what caused them to be tricked. So I do like that. And then, yeah, this is when the episode just goes completely bonkers. Like I'm looking at the preview like window right now of the episode just to remind myself of how crazy it freaking got. But this is where we get like the major like, drop of lore and the stakes and everything. Obviously you have Zhao with Zuko. They're all colliding here at this temple. Everyone is coming here to go after the Avatar. But in this moment, you have a moment where it's like, okay, well, aside from that, Aang finally gets to talk to Roku fully. And what happens? I was thinking that in the previous episode that they're going to tell me that there's going to be a meteor that's going to crash into the world and we're going to have to stop that from happening because there's going to be some world-altering, world-ending threat that's going to destroy everything that we love, okay? I thought that they were building something like that up. What they did, honestly, was way cooler, okay? I'll be real. It's way cooler because it's not necessarily a world-ending threat of like, this thing is going to crash land. I don't think. It's not just like, oh yeah, we all die. It's, hey, 100 years ago or whatever, there was this comet. This is what I understand. 100 years ago or whatever, there was this comet. This comet passed by the Earth, I guess, and the firebenders, because the comet got in close proximity to the world, the firebenders were able to get super powered up from the comet and harness its energy. And then that is when the war started and the first strike of the Fire Nation happened many years ago to get to where we are now. What? So a comet happened, I guess naturally in the universe. A comet passed by and the firebenders are able to harness that energy when it gets in close proximity and basically take over because of that. And that comet, that same one, is returning. And if Aang doesn't get all of the powers, all of the bending powers before that comet comes back, then the Fire Lord, or however you say it, Fire Lord Ozai, right, is going to become too powerful and too super powered up to defeat. What? That is so cool. Like, by the way, that is just so sick. Like the idea that there's this thing in space. Like this show is very grounded with like, obviously it's not very sci-fi or anything like that, right? And it's like, hey, by the way, there's this thing that is going to appear at a certain time frame. And all of these people in the world are going to like it's basically like a blood moon for the firebenders. Like, what? That's so sick, dude. That is so sick. And it makes me wonder, and I was saying this when I was reacting to it. By the way, reacted to both on Patreon today. So if you want to see the reactions to all this crazy stuff and sync it up and watch it, there's a lot of content today if you want to go check that out. I appreciate all that do. But it made me think like, okay, and this is maybe me going into like ultra theory mode, but with Avatar so far, they've shown there's like a cycle and like a balance to all things, right? There's a cycle of life. There's an Avatar cycle that they said. It changes different nations when the Avatar reincarnates. It feels kind of OP that the Fire Nation has like, there's just a thing that can happen in space that can cause all firebenders to be super powered up and be basically OP versus everybody else. That feels like, here's what I'm getting at. Is there other things in space that can power up others? Like, I don't know what the best way to describe it. Okay, I'll put it this way. Like the moon, right? The moon is a thing that like is used a lot in media as like the moon has power or like the moon like obviously the moon has an effect on the world that we live in, but also like it is this thing, this celestial thing that's like in the sky at all times, right? Like, is there a thing where like a full moon could affect things, or is there a thing where? And I play a lot of Persona, so this is where my brain's going. Can a full moon affect things? Can a is maybe it's when it's a full moon, the like earthbenders are more powerful. I don't know. Like I'm just like, or water, actually. Water would make more sense with like tides and stuff, actually. But like, is there something like that? Because maybe I'm going super far deep into this, but maybe I could see a world where what if we fail? What if we don't get all the powers in time? But there's like other ways that the world can get powered up. But granted, wouldn't you have to like, you'd have to wait for a natural time for that to happen. I don't think you could like literally cause that to happen. So I don't know. I just don't know where they're going to go with that. Like, it just feels OP that the comet is something that can power up an entire, fire bending all around the world, but there's nothing else in space that can do that with any of the other benders. And I feel like there's a balance to all things in Avatar from what I've seen so far. So it makes me wonder if there is something else, but maybe it's just like on certain years, maybe it's a comet for Fire Nation certain years, but then the comet does something else for others every 100 years or something like that. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's like one nation becomes really powerful and then you have to wait a long time and then another one gets the power from whatever celestial thing out there is. I don't know. I'm spitballing. Sorry. I know it sounds really weird, but it's just, there's so many things you can do with this plot is what I'm saying. There's so many things that they could go with, but regardless, the timer aspect, putting a timer on everything just adds so much weight and tension to this show. Cause like, I felt it a little bit. Like, obviously, we've had these episodes where Aang is like, hey, I want to learn these skills, but hey, we should go like penguin sledding and all that, which I think they'll still kind of keep those moments. I don't think they're going to like not have Aang, keep his youthful energy. I think that's important to his character. But I think that when you add this plot to it, I think in the background of every character's head now, like with the main trio, they're constantly going to be going, okay, we, as much as this is fun, we can't waste time. We are on a clock. If we don't get there, if we don't get the skills necessary, if Aang doesn't get powered up in the right way before this this calendar date, basically, we might be screwed, and the whole world might just be permanently in Fire Nation rule for a long time. That's terrifying. We don't want that, and I think it ups the stakes a lot. It's so cool. And then like, it just, God, like it just makes you wonder, like, are we going to see that? And I feel like you're probably going to see it. Like, I think you are going to see the comet happen because they've set it up. But the question is like, is it going to be in full force? Are we going to fail? Maybe we live in a world where we fail and then we have to like rise up from the comet winning again. I don't know. I don't know where they'll go with that. But regardless, it was just so freaking cool, man. It's such a cool lore drop. And then, Roku, he wasn't done. He gave us the lore bomb. He gave us the thing. But then he's like, by the way, I believe in you. And I'm going to like force project now into you. And like, basically, I'm going to use my powers to help you out here within you. And oh my freaking God, like the whole temple, he caused his own temple to be like crashing down with magma and lava and everything's being destroyed. And Aang is like basically channeling Roku and going, boom, everything's just like popping off. That was just, oh my God, like probably my favorite powerful moment of any Avatar thing in this show yet was just seeing Roku like channel into Aang and them like together using like this insane fire ability of like lava and all this volcanic rock and just like everything being destroyed and like, it just shows that Roku, even though that's a temple, Roku's temple in a way, it's like Roku knows it's important for Aang to escape, and Roku destroys the temple. Everything gets destroyed in the process, but that's okay because Aang can get out of here and escape. I love this episode, man. It was so freaking good. The only thing that I'm sad about, genuinely, is that it looks like Shayu, just my boy, got captured. Like after everything, after him being loyal and trying to help us, it just looks like he got captured and he's being sent to prison or whatever is what they said. Like just send him, I think they said send him to prison. So that sucks for Shayu, like literally like the homie and yeah, just we're cooked. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm trying to remember what happened to Zuko. If there's any, I guess Zuko just got out. I'm not sure. God, I can't remember. I assume Zuko made it out. Someone tell me what happened to Zuko there. But yeah, and now Aang has a weight on his shoulders, and the characters have a new timeline that they're going to have to accelerate. They're going to have to accelerate, and we're going to have to learn water as fast as feasibly possible. Since we're still in book 1 water, right? We got to learn water. What are we doing? We got to go. We got to go. We only got one skill really, which is air, and water barely. It's like we have got to hurry up. And I don't know when this comet thing is going to happen. I don't know if this comet thing is end of this season, end of season 2, not sure. It's really hard to tell. I don't know how many episodes are quite left in this season. I think we still have quite a bit of ways to go. So I don't know if it's a thing where Aang gets all the powers in this season, but I don't know if the book is called Water. So if book 1's the entire season, which it might be, then maybe it's like just water this season. But man, that's scary if it's just water this season. Like I don't know. So the comet could literally be the end game of the whole show. It could be. There's so many things that could happen, man. It's super exciting. MVP of this episode, it's gotta be Roku. I want to say Shayu as well if I said his name right, but like Roku was just like awesome. I love seeing that. God, like just what the heck, just absolutely insane. Like I could not believe how cool that was. And yeah, that's my thoughts on Avatar, episode 7 and episode 8. You got a really cool spirit episode with episode 7, and then episode 8 is just like raises the stakes. Crazy hype and aura moment with Roku, crazy lore drops. They sort of teased, by the way, they showed like a shadowy figure of the Fire Lord, right? And I'm like, oh shoot, okay. You're setting it up like a final boss, like the way you just see like the silhouette and nothing else. Like I can't wait to when we actually get to meet who this guy is. Who is this guy? Why is Zuko the way that he is? What's wrong with Daddy? You know, what's the deal here? But yeah, what an amazing episode. I can't wait to see where the show goes. I'm so glad I watched 2 this week. Thank you guys for letting me know in advance to watch 2. And I really, really hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, I hope your Monday has been absolutely fantastic and you enjoyed this special episode of the pod. If you want to check out all the reactions so far, they're all up on all the pod episodes are up, wherever you get your podcasts, all the raw reactions where you can sync up to your own timestamp. On Patreon, that exists. You guys supporting the Patreon is still just such a love letter. I really appreciate it so much. It wasn't something I was going to do originally, but you guys really asked for it. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope this was a really fun week. Sorry that this episode's coming out a little bit later, but I had so much to render today that it was a lot. But hopefully it's all good. There's no copyright issues or anything, and we made it. But yeah, hope to see you guys next week for episode 9. Can you believe that? Episode 9, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, I'll see you there. This has been me, JC. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday and a wonderful rest of your week. And bye. Bye.